Hi, everyone. I know it's been quite a while since you've had Tony's take. Last week we had mediation during both of our negotiation sessions, and this week we met on Monday and on Wednesday. And the specifics of everything is very difficult for me to explain off the cuff. So I'm having a couple of interviews to help express exactly what's been going on. So I'm going to give you just some um, general take homes. We have now proposed our wages packet, our benefits, and Articles 15 on retrenchment, and Article 29 on NTT. We've also had a slew of other articles that we've dealt with in subcommittee where there wasn't a lot of philosophical differences. It was just a matter of cleaning things up. But our most substantive um, negotiating points are obviously the two money articles, so 16 and 17, and then 29 and 15. And I think it's accurate to say there has not been much actual negotiations. Um, I think the fundamental and we could get into specifics. Essentially, they want us to pay more into our benefits. They want us to take pay cuts, and not only do they want these things, but they don't want them to snap back. We've been willing to do some concessions with snapback language, or at least with qualifying language, like if enrollment drops by this amount. But there hasn't been much movement on their side to move from their offer that we failed to ratify over the summer. So it's it. I find myself in this odd position of what I thought negotiations would be and what they are ending up being. So, um, a couple of big things that we're really hurting about is they have kind of a brick wall about any kind of relief for the RIF faculty in terms of compensation or even tuition remission for dependents. They have some legal arguments that we've not seen in writing yet, so we're wanting verification that they can't actually do those things, and we've not received that yet. But they also have some philosophical arguments that they seem to be unyielding on in terms of relief for the RIF list. The other big issue that we are tirelessly fighting for is provisions for our retiree dependent healthcare benefits as well as life insurance. And I am not going to get into the specifics of that. It is taking our attorneys and the chief negotiator multiple times to try to explain it to all of us. So I'm actually going to do a short interview with Rich Laundreville to kind of go over the specifics of that. But essentially, they want the sunset revision for those benefits for retiree dependents to end. We are strenuously arguing against that. So we don't know where we're at. As you probably know, open enrollment isn't happening right now because we have no agreement on benefits. And even though we wanted to put benefits perhaps above the other things so we can get open enrollment going at least for a year, we've still not been able to come to any kind of agreement. Obviously, I believe our side has concessed more than their side, um, but that could be biased. When we end up putting up the proposals of both wages and um, healthcare, you'll be able to see for yourself what their proposals have been and what ours have been. I'm going to be honest, we've not put them up because we've not had full proposals. It's been like parsed out, like, hey, what about this? With 15 and 29, we both had full proposals, and our goal was to get those up as soon as we had full proposals. But since we've not known which sections to put up. So we'll probably work on that over the next week or so you could see where we're at. We are going to meet one more time before Thanksgiving. So we'll be meeting on Monday. And that'll be a little longer of a session to hopefully come to some agreement on some of the financials, as well as for them to give us their rebuttal to our proposed 15 and 29, which they've not done yet. Um, I've really been disheartened by how negotiations have gone. I think there's a lot of really smart people in the room, and it feels as though the bottom line for the university is that they need money, and they're going to take it from all groups, including us, and their basis is projected deficits, and we're trying to argue that the data do not support the projected deficits anymore, given going from a 65 million projected deficit to a 7 or 8 million deficit, and so on and so forth. So, we don't exactly understand why they need permanent concessions on healthcare and wages. I also want to say, and this is probably the most important thing I'll say today, is we have some communications going out, some surveys going out. And honestly, I know you're tired of the surveys. Before I was part of this, I'm not sure I completed every survey. I apologize, Pam. I tried to, but I'm sure it got sent to the back burner sometimes. You need to complete our surveys. There's a survey going around right now that is particularly important, going over the consequences and what we're willing to do if we can't negotiate a fair contract for ourselves. And we can't do anything if you don't support us. And so we need to know what you are willing to do. Um, so please go to your spam folder, your junk email, or clutter, wherever it is, and look for the most recent communication in terms of an AAUP survey, because we absolutely need your feedback. As of today, we had 105 people, and that's like a third of what we need. So in order for us to make informed decisions about how to negotiate on your behalf, we need to know what items are most important and what you're willing to do to fight for those items. So later today, we're going to put up an interview that I had with Stephanie Uhas from the Department of Criminal Justice, and she's really going to go over the NTT divide. So what we're fighting for our NTT colleagues, and some of the misperceptions that are out there, and some of the language in Article 29, which is the NTT article. It's a little longer, so it's a good 20 minutes of an interview, but I promise it's worth it. So please, I implore you, if you have questions about our being able to represent fully our NTT faculty, please watch it. I think Stephanie does a superb job, better than I could do. I'm the comedian of the group. She does a superb job of explaining things. So my take is things are kind of grim. Um, So I hope things will turn around. I hope there's some movement on Monday, but we are preparing for fact finding, and we are preparing for some roadblocks. Another interview I'm going to do with Rich, or during the interview I do about healthcare, I'm going to have him talk you through what's going to happen if we don't reach a contract agreement. And since we're coming up to the deadline in roughly a month and a half, we want you to know everything that happens next. So stay tuned to look for some of those interviews. Please make sure to watch the Stephanie one on NTT. And as soon as I could wrangle Rich to have a spare 10, 15, 20 minutes, I will get him on here as well. He may be the busiest man I know right now. So we'll see when that happens. Okay, I am going to relax for a little while before I get feedback from our attorneys that this too had some erroneous statements. So we'll see you.